everybody. Welcome back to the tailgate for another farmer life skill today. Today we're going to talk about what supplement do you need to use, and is it protein versus energy that you actually need. Depending upon what animals you're trying to feed, whether that's young calves or more mature animals, will determine whether or not your need for protein or energy is stronger. So if we're talking about mature animals who are done with majority of their growing, they're not trying to grow bones, they're not trying to grow muscles, chances are our need for nutrients is probably more on the energy side. And of course we know that the best feed source for energy is yellow corn, whether that's cracked corn or however that may come. But there are some other options that we can use to help us meet those energy needs, and that's what we wanted to talk about today. The first of which is gluten. So if you have gluten, that is a really cheap feed. It's a byproduct feed of corn, and it meets a lot of needs for mature animals. But it also makes it imperative that we have a good mineral program on hand, because it's not the best in terms of being balanced for calcium and phosphorus. It also is high in sulfur and iron and can tie up copper, which is something that we need to keep an eye on, especially in beef cattle. We also have soy hulls. It's a good energy source, a little higher quality, a little more balanced in terms of calcium and phosphorus compared to gluten. And we also have dry distillers grains. And previously, dry distillers grains maybe wasn't as available in East Tennessee as it is now. And it's a fairly inexpensive, good byproduct feed that is a really good source of energy for our mature animals. Now, one thing we might need to keep in mind about our dry distillers grains is that depending upon the level and amount that you feed it, it can potentially cause some reproductive issues in those mature animals. Now, we talked about how energy is needed for our mature animals, but it's important that we have the appropriate quality and type of both protein and energy for both growing stages. When we think about young calves, their need for protein is much higher compared to our mature animals. So you might be asking yourself, well, do I need a protein tub? For mature animals that are maybe thin or not in the ideal body condition, you probably don't need a protein tub. You probably need an energy source. If it's calves that are actively growing, building bone, building muscle, then you probably need more protein. That's where we have these two. So we have soybean meal. Soybean meal is a higher quality protein compared to cottonseed meal. Okay, you tell the difference. Soybean meal is a little bit lighter, cottonseed meal is a little bit darker. Cottonseed meal is a little bit more fibrous, and mature animals are better able to utilize this compared to younger growing calves. But it's important, no matter what the feed stuff is, no matter how it's used, to recognize that all ages and classes of animals need appropriate amounts of protein and energy. If you've got questions about that, feel free to reach out to us. And thanks for stopping by the tailgate.